Response to stimulus in plants. The survival of all living organisms depends on sensing and responding to the changes taking place in the surroundings. To interact with the environment, living organisms have a network of specialized cells, neurons, whereas plants have hormones. Plants cannot move themselves to areas of preferable conditions, but they have a variety of adaptations that help them to adjust with the changes happening around them. Development of plants, as well as their interactions with the environment, are regulated by plant hormones. Responses in plants. Plants have the ability to detect a stimulus and respond to it by growing or bending either in its direction or away from it. These responses are called tropisms. Tropism is a growth response between a plant and an external stimulus. The stimulus can be weather, touch, time, gravity or light. Actually, any response during tropisms is controlled by a plant hormone called auxin. Auxin is a phytohormone responsible for cell division. It is also responsible for controlling the direction of growth of a plant in response to certain stimuli. It is present at the root tips and stem tips in response to different stimuli, including light and gravity. It is produced by cells at the tips of roots and shoots of plants. At the tip of a shoot, there is an area in which cells are produced by dividing so that the shoot grows. Old cells do not divide, but the stem grows in length due to the dividing cells at the tip. Types of tropism. Tropisms are directional movement responses that occur in response to a directional stimulus. A tropism can be either positive or negative. If a tropism is in the direction of the stimulus, it is positive. If the tropism is away from the stimulus, it is negative. The following types of tropism are well known: phototropism, geotropism, hydrotropism, thigmotropism, and chemotropism. Phototropism. Phototropism is the growth of plant in response to light. The shoot of a plant is positively phototropic. When a young growing plant is exposed to the light coming from one direction only, the newly grown stem will bend towards the direction of the source of light. It happens because of the release of plant hormone auxin. If the source of light is on the right side of a plant's shoot, auxin will accumulate on the opposite side. Due to the accumulation of auxin, that side will grow much faster and will make shoot bend towards the light. Reverse happens when the source of light is on the other side. This is phototropism. Geotropism. The growth of plant in response to gravity is called geotropism. Roots show positive geotropism and negative phototropism because they grow towards gravity and away from sunlight. Opposite to shoot, auxins prevent the cells at the bottom tip of the root from growing, making the cells at the middle of the root grow faster. When the cells of the middle of the root grow faster, they push the root deeper into the soil and the root gets longer. The root grows in the direction of the gravitational pull. This is geotropism, and it is also known as gravitropism. Hydrotropism. Hydrotropism is about the response of plant during its growth towards water. Roots show positive hydrotropism and grow in the direction of water. Once a root cap has sensed water, it bends and then the root grows towards it. Tendency of roots to bend towards the water causes problems in many cities. When roots of plants or trees grow towards the drain pipes, they enter the cracks present in the pipes and plug up the drains. This will cause clogging and the flow of fluid in the pipe will get restricted. Thigmotropism. Thigmotropism is the directional response of plants to touch or physical contact with a solid object. This phenomenon is depicted by the climbing tendrils of some plants such as sweet pea, cucumber, etc. Tendrils are specialized thread-like structures that can grasp objects with which they come in contact. As soon as a tendril reaches this support, it releases a class of phytohormones called auxin. Accumulation of auxin at certain growing places of plant helps the tendrils to grow towards the supporting object. Chemotropism. Movement or growth in plants in response to chemical stimuli is known as chemotropism. The roots of the plants show a positive chemotropism by growing towards the useful minerals and negative chemotropism by growing away from the harmful chemicals. The growth of pollen tube towards the ovule in the ovary is an example of positive chemotropism. Some chemicals secreted by ovary help in directing the growth of pollen tube through the style. This is chemotropism. Nastic movements. Nastic movements are non-directional responses to stimuli. Such movements are different from tropisms because the direction of movement is not dependent on the direction of the stimulus. The closing of the carnivorous plant Venus flytrap leaf on coming in contact with the prey is an example of nastic movement. The leaf does not close unless two of its hairs are touched. More examples of nastic movements in plants. This is Mimosa pudica plant. It is also known as touch-me-not. When the leaves of this plant are touched or disturbed, they get folded, exhibiting nastic movement. This type of movement that results due to some mechanical stimulation is known as thigmonasty. Another example of such a response is the opening and closing of flowers. If you've ever taken a late-night stroll through a garden, you may have noticed that certain flowers, much like humans, tend to retire after the sun goes down. Movement of plants in response to the onset of darkness is known as nyctinasty. Thigmomorphogenesis. In nature, plants are challenged by strong winds, monsoon rains, and regular attack of herbivores. In such conditions, plants respond to these mechanical stimuli by changing their growth pattern. Swaying of plants by winds is one of the most common responses of plants to winds. Continuous swaying of the plants in the wind's direction changes their direction of growth. Plant hormones or phytohormones. Another factor in plant growth is the influence of plant hormones. Hormones are chemicals produced by plants that regulate their growth and development. Different hormones affect different plant processes. They are biochemical substances produced in one part of a plant and transported to a different part where they exert a particular effect. One type of plant hormone is called auxins. The effect of auxin we have already seen. This hormone increases the length of most plant cells and thereby contributes to the growth and elongation of the plant. Auxins produced in the terminal buds suppress the growth of side buds and stimulate root growth. Cytokinins. Cytokinins are found in sites of active cell division in plants. For example, in root tips, seeds, fruits and leaves. The first cytokinin discovered was named kinetin. Cytokinins show several responses in plants depending on the location and concentration. They can prevent leaves from aging and promote fruit and embryo development. Lateral bud development, which is retarded by auxin, is promoted by cytokinins. Ethylene. Ethylene is the only gaseous plant hormone. It is responsible for the ripening of fruit. Ethylene is used to treat crops so that the whole crop ripes at the same time. Sprayed on a field, it will cause all fruits to ripen at the same time so that they can be harvested. Abscisic acid. Another plant hormone is abscisic acid, which is produced in mature leaves and inhibits growth in developing leaves and germinating seeds. Abscisic acid is considered to be stress hormone. It inhibits the effects of other hormones to reduce the growth during the times of plant stress. Gibberellins. Gibberellins promote stem elongation. They are not produced in stem tip. Gibberellic acid was the first of this class of hormone to be discovered. The gibberellins are especially abundant in seeds and young shoots, where they control stem elongation by stimulating both cell division and elongation.